Hello everyone, welcome back to the final stages of qualifying. Must apologise, we are having a few technical issues here. This is why we have a prologue race before the official championship begins. But we do have times, and look at that on the top left of your screen. Austin Greatorex wasn't fastest in practice, but where it counts in qualifying, he's sitting at the top with a 2:23.5. She's actually about half a second off of Kyle Henny's practice pace. So it'll be interesting to see in the dying moments of qualifying whether Kyle Henny in the number 2 will be able to pull out that extra bit of pace. Mark Phillips there sitting in third, the number 17, the dark green machine, in a plus 1.4 seconds just now. As we reach the final stages of qualifying, that looks like it might be our grid confirmed. Well. So we shall hopefully be able to get to the grid any minute now. There we go. Yes. So, as our drivers take to the grid then, we have on pole Austin Greatorex in the number 5. In second, Kyle Henny. Third, Mark Phillips. In fourth will be Paul Riga in the number 7. In fifth will be Carl Sharkey. Sixth, Danny Jones. In seventh will be Michael Jarvis. In eighth will be Ryan Penny. In ninth will be Peter Mackay. No, it won't, because I'm sitting here commentating. In 10th will be Toby Barlow. 11th, Mark Searle. And 12th, Carl Hazelton. So, as we await ready for the start, before we begin, I'd like to say thank you to our sponsors, Pirelli Performance Centres, Petro Canada and Lockton Insurance for their support of the Porsche Club of Great Britain. So it's Austin Greatorex on pole there in the Flying Zebra with his new nemesis, Kyle Henny, in the number 2 in the Porsche factory colour scheme, the white and black colour scheme there. So we're just waiting on all of our drivers coming to the grid now, and we will be good to go here at Spa for half an hour of hot action here in the south of Belgium. Watch for the rundown to turn 1 La Source. That is going to be action packed for sure. With these 911 GT3 Cup cars, so easy to lock the brakes at any time, but particularly when the tyres are cold. You can hear our drivers eager to get going, revving their engines. The lights are ready then. Red lights are on. We are ready to go here at Spa for the prologue of the inaugural Porsche Club of Great Britain Sim Racing Championship. Down towards La Source, it's Greatorex that's got away cleanly, but Mark Phillips, look at Mark Phillips, he's got past into second position. That's fantastic stuff from him. Down they go then, all the way down the straight towards Eau Rouge. Wow. So it's Greatorex leads with Phillips in second, and Kyle Henny dropped back to third with Riga not far behind in fourth place. Through we go then, down the Kemmel Straight, and that's the Haribo car. That's the Haribo car of Danny Jones. He's gone off on the grass, but he's managed to hold it. Here goes Paul Riga up the inside of Mark Phillips. My goodness me. So, it's Greatorex then, from Kyle Henny, from Paul Riga, and then Mark Phillips in fourth position as they head down towards Pouon for the very first time. There's double apex left-hander. Heading down we go then, round the left-hander. Very, very close so far onto this first lap. But look at that, Kyle Henny has got past Phillips and he's got past Paul Riga as well. And he heads off in hot pursuit of Austin Greatorex in the Flying Zebra. Through the Fania chicane then, down towards Campus. Tricky section, just tiptoeing these cars around. A Porsche GT3 Cup car, they really take a good couple of laps to get up to their full temperature when they're at their happiest. So, back towards the front then. Greatorex in first, about half a second ahead of Peter Kilhenny, hovering around that, with Paul Riga about 2.5 seconds further back from Greatorex. Looks like we've got a problem for Michael Jarvis. Michael Jarvis, the number 1, he looks to have not got going in this race. Maybe perhaps technical issues. Down the gearbox then, down into the bus stop chicane. Proper sequential gearbox system, dog ring sequential gearbox system, proper racing gearbox in these 911 GT3 Cup cars. So, they cannot be separated then. Greatorex and Peter Kilhenny, they cannot be separated. You can't put a cigarette paper between them. Okay, down the Kemmel Straight we go then. Mark Phillips with Paul Riga in hot pursuit in the number 7 police car. Mark Phillips with a white and blue Porsche police car behind him. That's what no one wants to see. And Sharky's off! Sharky's off in the red and black Strasser car on the brakes, heading into Lake Combe. But has he got going? Has he hit the barrier? I couldn't really tell if he's hit the barrier or not, but that looks like that could be the end of Carl Sharkey's day before it even got started. So round we go then. Peter Kilhenny's now got ahead of Austin Greatorex, with Phillips and Riga not too far behind as well as they head down through Puon. A little bit wide there from Paul Riga. Got Michael Jarvis a lap down. Danny Jones in the pit, Toby Barlow in the pit as well. So we've had a little bit of action at the start of this race. And look at Peter Kilhenny in the number 2, just heading away with incredible pace. So back with Austin Greatorex though, a little bit of a lock up on the brakes then, in hot pursuit of Peter Kilhenny, who looks to be breaking away. Now gap now up to 1.2 seconds as they head over the line. 7 minutes down then of our race so far, 23 to go. Down they go, down towards Eau Rouge. Peter Kilhenny through Eau Rouge, 5th gear, really fast through there. Sometimes some of the drivers electing to enter in 6th and then flip down to 5th as they go between Eau Rouge and Radion. Onto the Kemmel Straight then, and this is an imperious performance from Peter Kilhenny, now 2 seconds ahead of Greatorex, our race 1 winner at Lime Rock Park, heading into Les Combe chicane. Very smooth from Peter Kilhenny there. The light blue, almost teal coloured helmet in that number 2 Porsche. So further down we've got Mark Phillips on the podium, winning that podium battle between him and Paul Riga. Mark Phillips in the number 17, about 6.8 seconds behind Peter Kilhenny, the leader, but crucially holding about a 2 second or so advantage over Paul Riga. I mean, Carl Sharkey in 5th, so he's obviously got going after that little incident at the at Les Combe chicane, and Carl Sharkey's actually got past Paul Riga. It looks like Paul Riga's dropping down the timing screen. Paul Riga's had a problem in the police car. He's off. Plus 23. Yeah, he is falling back. I think Paul Riga has stopped on track. He's got a problem, and I think he's just about got going again, but definitely dropped out of the order after an incident of some sort. So look at that, Carl Sharkey now up to 4th position after that incident at the Les Combe chicane. So that gives Phillips a little bit of breathing space in 3rd position. Now it'll just be up to see if Phillips can hold his position there and stay steady. Round Blanchimont then. This is a absolute exhibition drive so far from Peter Kyle-Henny, opening up nearly 2.5 second advantage on Greatorex, who's known as one of the leading drivers in the Porsche Club of Great Britain sim racing division. Down they go then. Fastest lap of the race then, a 2:23.6. Austin Greatorex a whole second slower with a 2:24.6. Phillips with a 2:26.8. So a real spread across the top three, with Peter Kyle-Henny dropping the hammer and breaking away. So it's all up to Kyle-Henny now to keep the car under control, keep the concentration and not relax, keep the pace up. If you back off, you can easily make a mistake in these 911 GT3 Cup cars. So under the bridge then, down the Kemmel Straight they go, down towards Les Combes, a very popular spot for the fans during the Formula 1 Grand Prix. That banking there is just a sea of orange of fans watching their hero Max Verstappen in the Red Bull Honda. So 9 cars out on the track right now, all the way down to Danny Jones, the number 4. It's about 1 minute and 40 seconds back, so still on the lead lap, but quite a while off the pace. Paul Riga's got going again, sitting about 29 seconds from the leader right now, but only 5 seconds from Ryan Penny in 5th, and still a good amount of this race to go yet. Interestingly, seeing a different order and the characteristics of this Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car quite different to the 718 Cayman GT4 that we used at Lime Rock Park a couple of weeks ago. Of course, the GT4, much more of a road specification machine, uses the road car's PDK dual clutch transmission, boasting about 450 horsepower, so actually not so much different in terms of horsepower, but not quite as sophisticated as this GT3 Cup car, which we see competed all over the world in various regional championship, and of course in the Porsche Super Cup as well, which which they come to visit here at Spa-Francorchamps as a support race on the F1 calendar. Down towards La Source then. So Greatorex just snipped a little bit back there, just about 0.02 of a second quicker than Kyle-Henny on that lap, but still very stable gap. Now, fastest lap of the race for Mark Phillips, his fastest lap of the race I should say, and also for Carl Sharkey in 4th position. So Carl Sharkey, he's been able to recover from that impact, from that accident at the Les Combes chicane, and stayed in 4th position. Now, what does Greatorex have? Does he have the pace to catch up with Kyle-Henny? He has the time to do it. He's just got to wait for just 1 or 2 mistakes. The gap's still hovering about 2.8 seconds, so one little error from Kyle-Henny and Greatorex will be right there. We saw it in race 1 at Lime Rock Park when Greatorex was leading very comfortably and had a small mistake onto the grass and allowed Carl Sharkey by. He was able to recover and will still win the race, but changed the complexion of what looked like a sure thing very much. So down through the Liège section, down towards Pouhon Corner, the double left-hander here. Incredible that in a Formula 1 car, entering that corner about 190 miles an hour and exiting at about 185 miles an hour. An absolutely extraordinary show of the downforce of a Formula 1 car. But equally, in fact, you could argue a greater challenge in one of these 911 Cup cars, because you've not got anything like the downforce on these cars. So you have to balance the brake and the throttle, keep the car steady, and try and maximise your corner speed and fighting the understeer. So we're heading out through here, through Stavelot, another corner where fighting the understeer of these 911 GT3 Cup cars is quite tricky as well. Heading down towards Blanchimont, the gap is now looking about 3 seconds as Kyle-Henny heads through Blanchimont, so obviously going a little bit quicker on this lap than Greatorex. Mark Phillips quite a bit further down the road, just over 10 seconds away from the leader, Kyle Henney, a newcomer to the Porsche Club of Great Britain Sim Racing paddock. Over the line we go then, a 2:24 flat from Kyle Henney and a 2:24.7 from Austin Greatorex. So Kyle Henney pushing on again, 0.7 of a second quicker. Mark Phillips betters his best time once more with a 25.8. So Phillips in the dark green GT3 Cup car getting quite a bit quicker as we go along. So possibly with a slight mistake from one of the cars in front. You just never know for Mark Phillips. Colonel Sharkey also putting in his fastest lap of the race, a 2:27.8 as well. Down the Kemmel Straight they go then. Greatorex now 3.3 seconds away. Watch Kyle Henney there on the brakes into Lacombe, using all of the curb on the braking zone. A tricky technique to get right, but clearly gaining him some lap time. Down towards Brussels, this is one of the hardest corners on the Spa circuit, completely off camber as you head round the right hander, down 2 gears, and you're really fighting the understeer. You want to try and get the best exit you possibly can into Liège and getting that almost slingshot exit down towards Pouin, down the hill as we can see. So further back down the order then, with looking at Danny Jones in the Haribo car, Ryan Penny in the Team Parker Racing green, white and yellow Carrera Cup car. He's chasing down Paul Riga, who had a little bit of an issue earlier on in the race. We're not quite sure what yet, but definitely dropped back down the order slightly. So he's got Ryan Penny chasing after him as they head through Pouin corner. Back with Greatorex then in the Flying Zebra. Down towards the bus stop chicane. Down the gears. Gap now up to 4.6 seconds, so perhaps a mistake from Greatorex on that lap. That's 2:23.9 from Kyle Henney, and we're just getting Greatorex over the line now, a 2:25.7, so certainly a mistake of some description there from Greatorex, and the gap now up to nearly 5 seconds. So this is a commanding lead here from Peter Kyle Henney, the number 2 in the white and black factory paint scheme. So this is the paint scheme you see on this number 2 car of Kyle Henney. This paint scheme was the car was used on Porsche's 911 GT RSR cars at Le Mans back in 2014 and 2015. Also at the Daytona 24 Hours as well, when Porsche announced its Intelligent Performance campaign and Mission Future sports car, which of course involved the 919 hybrid as well. And now as we see Porsche's amazing new Taycan electric car, an incredible performance car powered completely by electricity, almost silent in its powertrain but in amazing performance, and a lot of that technology developed in the laboratory, the rolling laboratory that was the 919 hybrid, which had such a successful, if brief, tenure at the Le Mans 24 Hours. Of course, entering into the Le Mans 24 Hours in 2014 and breaking down very close to the end of the race, but then making amends in 2015, 16 and 17 with outright wins 3 years in a row to ensure Porsche as the most successful manufacturer ever at the world's greatest motor race, with 19 overall victories. And of course that doesn't include all of the class victories as well. It's such an incredible heritage of over 70 years in motorsport. So, back on track. The gaps now evened out a little bit, just at about 5 seconds, with Kyle Henney leading Austin Greatorex, with Mark Phillips leading a bit of a lonely race in third position, but I'm sure he won't mind too much to be cruising to a second podium of the Porsche Club of Great Britain Sim Racing Championship so far. So Paul Riga's managed to make a breakaway from Ryan Penny. Ryan Penny obviously had some sort of issue about 20 seconds further back down the road from Riga in the police car. So the gap's now opening up quite a bit here at Spa. Quite easy to happen on a large circuit like this. At Lime Rock Park we saw a lot of issues with lap traffic. Of course, Lime Rock Park circuit almost just over a minute long for a lap there in a GT4 car. So we did see a couple of cars having to move over as lapped traffic, but no such problem here today at Spa. Although we have Mark Sell about 2 minutes and 20 seconds behind Peter Kyle Henney, so it might be that Kyle Henney comes up behind Mark Sell in the lime green number 77 GT3 Cup car. Can we see him ahead? Not just yet, but I think he will pop into view shortly, with Kyle Henney lapping significantly quicker than Mark Sell, who there he is on the left hand side in the gravel. Will that cause, now he's right, will that cause a problem for Austin Greatorex? Possibly. Let's wait and see what happens there. We're following Kyle Henney, and there's Greatorex. Yep, gonna give time for Mark Sell to get up to speed again. Mark Sell very gentlemanly, letting Greatorex through. Good discipline there from the number 77 man. Through the Fania chicane we go then. Just 10 minutes to go then, less than 10 minutes to go in this inaugural Porsche Club of Great Britain sim race. Greatorex now over 7.5 seconds behind Peter Kyle Henney. The revelation of this race came in to the club just this week and has been fantastic here at Spa. Be interesting to hear in post-race just how much practice he's been getting this week on his sim at home. So next up, Danny Jones, the number 4 in the Haribo car, in 7th position. He'll be next up for lap traffic in the next few minutes or so, sitting about 1 minute and 55 seconds behind the leader. So he'll be next up for Kyle Henney to come up to lap. Heading down towards Eau Rouge. Very, very fast corner through there. 5th gear, really full commitment. So now back with Mark Phillips, who's coming up behind Mark Sell. So has he seen the blue flag? He has. Very good discipline from Mark Sell there, and Mark Phillips passed with no problem whatsoever. Running out the Carrera Cup specialist, Mark Phillips running a very clean race in that beautiful dark green, almost fluorescent looking 911 GT3 Cup car. Custom livery. That's the great thing here about iRacing.com, is that whatever design you would like on your car, you can paint your race car however you wish. Interestingly, Peter Kyle Henney, the leading driver, he's chosen Porsche's very own factory colour scheme. Used to being seen at the front of the field. Austin Greatorex, certainly with the most distinctive design here in the Porsche Club Great Britain, now affectionately known in the Porsche Club of Great Britain sim racing paddock as the Flying Zebra. Apparently also known as Dazzle Camouflage, but let's stick with Flying Zebra. But a new design for Paul Riga. Paul Riga ran a beautiful white, blue and red Cayman 718 GT4 in our race at Lime Rock Park, but today surprisingly turned up with a police car livery, so we'll all have to mind our P's and Q's around Paul in the digital paddock that we have on Discord, where we share our iRacing experiences. This has just been a commanding performance from Peter Kyle Henney, now up to 9.9 seconds ahead of Austin Greatorex, the number 5. Round they go then. A little bit of oversteer then. So we're getting to the point now where you'll see the tyres on these 911 GT3 Cup cars start to get a little bit more worn out, start to get a little bit more slippy. So with Kyle Henney out in a comfortable lead. He'll have to be very, very careful. So now, here comes Carl Sharkey coming up past... Oh my word, oh dear. Number 77, oh, Mark Sell has come straight across Carl Sharkey. Carl Sharkey coming round to lap the car. Perhaps didn't see Carl Sharkey in his mirrors, and there has been an accident between Mark Sell and Carl Sharkey at Blanchimont, one of the fastest corners on the circuit here, and Carl Sharkey's clearly got suspension damage. His car tracking all over the place. A disaster for the black and red car there, the Strasser Porsche of Carl Sharkey. And look at Paul Riga, there you go, look at that, the front of his 911, you can see right into the front boot of, or the trunk as we should say, of the his 911. So disaster for Carl Sharkey, who was sitting in 4th position. He's had to go into the pits with damage after a collision with Mark Searle, the back marker. What a disaster for Sharkey, our 2nd place man, don't forget, at Lime Rock Park. So, well, what a bit of action then. We weren't expecting that. We'd seen good discipline from Mark Searle, number 77, letting through both Kyle Henney, Greatorex and Phillips, but a little bit of an issue there with Carl Sharkey heading through Blanchimont. Dear, oh dear. So, Kyle Henney then, still absolutely inch perfect all race long. Heading up to about 150 miles an hour in towards Blanchimont. We've got less than 5 minutes remaining in this race. Carl Sharkey's still, he's managed to come out the pits. He's obviously been able to get a fast repair. His pit crew doing a great job to get the number 9 machine back out on the road and scoring a finish after what could have been a disastrous outcome there after a clash with Mark Searle, the back marker. So, looking now at the Haribo car, number 4, Danny Jones, with Carl Sharkey right behind. Now, they're both on the same lap together, Danny Jones and Carl Sharkey. So, just that's what you see on the road there, that is the gap. They're on the same lap. So, this will be a nice little battle to follow between Carl Sharkey and Danny Jones. So, let's go on board with Carl Sharkey and watch this battle. And oh, it's over before it started. It is over before it started. Danny Jones has gone off. Commentator's Kirks, I'm sorry, Danny, that was my fault. I'm setting you up for that fall there. My apologies. So, Carl Sharkey goes through then into 6th position, trying to recover after that incident at Blanchimont with Mark Searle. Real gap now back. So Mark Phillips, he has a 40-second gap behind him to Paul Riga in 4th. So Phillips can definitely throttle back now with just 5 minutes remaining, around 2 laps left of this race. He can cruise now to the finish, to his 2nd podium of the year in the Porsche Club of Great Britain Sim Racing Championship. As we're heading down to the final stages of this race, we'd also like to say a big thank you to Porsche Club of Great Britain supporter and partner Petro Canada. Petro Canada were founded in Ottawa in 1975 and are producers of advanced lubricants, specialty fluids and greases. So after this terrible lockdown period, and if you're getting your Porsche ready for a nice summer's drive in this lovely weather we're having here in the UK right now, make sure and check your engine oil, check that your car is ready to go, and if it needs a top up, make sure and choose Petro Canada motor oils for your Porsche. Heading round now, we should be getting the white flag soon as we see our leader, Peter Kyle Henney, who's driven an immaculate race so far, down into the bus stop chicane. Just 1.5 minutes remaining in this race, so we will get the white flag next time round. So on to the penultimate lap of the race then for our leader, Peter Kyle Henney, who's now lapping about 2:25. So he's gone into cruise mode. He's taking it nice and easy. He's got a 12.7 second gap from Austin Greatorex, so he's taking it nice and steady now. Interestingly, with this 911 GT3 Cup car, it's been a completely different complexion here in this race to what we saw with the 718 Cayman GT4 cars. A very, very tricky car to master, this 911 GT3 Cup car, and certainly that has shown, where the cream has risen very much to the top with a great performance here from Peter Kyle Henney. We'd also like to thank the Porsche Club of Great Britain. We'd also like to thank our insurance partner, Lockton Insurance, the world's largest privately owned insurance broker. Lockton Insurance provide excellent cover, care and value to Owners Club clients. So if that doomsday is approaching, your renewals come in and you're unhappy, give Lockton Insurance a call and they might be able to surprise you with a competitive quote and excellent customer care to make sure that your pride and joy is looked after. So if you've enjoyed watching this Porsche Club of Great Britain 911 GT3 Cup race, you can watch the pros have a go this afternoon in the virtual Porsche Super Cup, where drivers like Lawrence Vantor, Le Mans winner, will be taking part. That's this afternoon and can be viewed on Twitch, YouTube and the Porsche website as well. So tune in and watch how it's done, and they're actually going to be taking part at Spa as well, so you can compare the lap times between Porsche factory drivers and our drivers here in the Porsche Club of Great Britain. So we should be getting the white flag this time then, as Peter Kyle Henney should be heading round shortly to take the white flag to signify we're going on the final lap. But oh my goodness me, Danny Jones is off. He's off in the Haribo car. Is he going to go through pit lane? No, he's going to keep going. Almost runs into the back of Carl Hazelton there in the black Porsche, and he's going slowly. He's going slowly. Danny Jones has clearly got a technical issue. Carl Hazelton goes past. Now remember, Carl Hazelton is a lap down on Danny Jones in the Haribo car, so that's obviously been a little bit of confusion there coming up to lap the all black number 10 of Carl Hazelton. So coming round, we're on the white flag lap now for our leader, Peter Kyle Henney. So we should see him round to the finish line shortly. Now look at this, number 10 and number 4, Hazelton and Danny Jones, and this time Hazelton gives best, lets Danny Jones through in the number 4 Haribo car. He goes a little bit wide going into Lacombe there, but he is through safely for Danny Jones in the number 4. A lap down on the leader, but a 7th place position so far. Back at the front, Kyle Henney is now 13.7 seconds ahead of Austin Greatorex in 5th position and 27.5 seconds ahead of Mark Phillips in 3rd, with Paul Riga over a minute behind in 4th. So we've really seen the field stretch out here in this race at Spa-Francorchamps, but you can be sure that as our field get more used to these 911 GT3 Cup cars as we head into our season proper, you can see that we're going to have a close championship indeed. And of course, more wildcards like Peter Kyle Henney coming in this week into the paddock and immediately straight on the pace and into a winning position. So who else will come and join us in the Porsche Club of Great Britain? So if you're a Porsche Club of Great Britain member, get in touch, come and join us. If you're a Porsche driver in motorsport, do get in touch as well. We'd love to see you come and take part in this inaugural Sim Racing Championship of the Porsche Club of Great Britain. So we're coming to the end then of this 30-minute race. We've got the checkered flag there, and Peter Kyle Henney takes the checkered flag then to win the inaugural Prologue race here at Spa-Francorchamps, here with the Porsche Club of Great Britain. And here comes Austin Greatorex in 2nd position. Our winner from Lime Rock Park is going to be 2nd place this time. Another solid performance from the man in the flying zebra. So we wait then for Mark Phillips in third place in the number 17 car to come in at the end. And a beautiful burnout and donuts there from Greatorex. Very stylish indeed. Well done, that man. And that's Mark Phillips over the line, confirming his second third place finish in a row after his excellent performance at Lime Rock Park. Now waiting on Paul Riga to come over the line in fourth. Danny Jones confirmed in seventh. Carl Hazelton in eighth. Mark Searle in ninth, with Toby Barlow rounding out the top 10 as well. Just waiting for our final few drivers to come through then. A brilliant performance from Peter Cowhenny on his parade lap right now, after taking the checkered flag. A big, over 10-second lead from Austin Greatorex, who's been the star of the Porsche Club of Great Britain sim racing paddock so far. But Peter Cowhenny is definitely going to provide a big challenge to Austin Greatorex. Thank you very much to you all for watching this race with the Porsche Club of Great Britain, and we look forward to seeing you for round 1 very shortly. Thank you very much.